Well, I hear a story from Ken Crosby, cricket game in the jungle. Sunday morning right after church, big crowd assemble. Donkey say me fuss, I batting, you know I love me cricket. Crapper sit down behind the stumps, he say alright, I keep in wicket. Giraffe and kangaroo at fine leg, snake down in the gully, umpire parrot in the tree. He say alright fellas, are you ready? And the ones, the crowd start to sing very loud if you hear them. Hit the ball, donkey, hit the ball. Cover, drive him and make him ball. Hook the man like Kali Charan and put him straight in the stand. Elephant turn and pick up the ball. He say, I open the bowling. Monkey say, boy, the size of you. If you say you're bowling, you're bowling. Well, elephant walk about half mile, and then he started running. He coming down like an express train, the whole blasted jungle shaking. When he see elephant coming down, oh, donkey start to shiver. Red Ants hit him a couple bites. He say, man, bat and pads together. And then the ones in the crowd start to sing very loud if you hear them. Hit the ball, donkey, hit the ball. Cover, drive him and make him ball. Hook the man like Vivian Richard and put him straight out the yard. Elephant coming down like a horse. He jump up high and deliver. The ball come down like a thunderbolt and bust the bat into splinter. Liquid donkey, liquid crappo, liquid snake in the gully. Lick down giraffe and kangaroo and gone whistling down to the boundary. Well, Red Ants lie down flat on the ground. He say, Lord, that elephant crazy. He must be thinking he's Courtney Walsh or the man from Antigua Courtly. And the ones in the crowd start to sing very loud if you hear them. Hit the ball, donkey, hit the ball. Cover, drive him and make him ball. Hook the man like Brian Lara and put him out the pasture. Scatteration out on the field. Everyone
You check two.
Crappo lie down like if he dead. Giraffe and kangaroo limping. But Mr. Parrot, the umpire, he said, all you hold some straight. Elephant, 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 elephant.
All right. I want to say special good evening and welcome to another edition of Cricket Fever right here on GT592FM radio. I know it's a Friday and I don't normally do cricket program on a Friday, but because of my busy schedule, I could not get to do program yesterday or Wednesday. So the only day was available was tonight, and we had a special program each and every Friday right here on GT Radio. As you guys know, there's always a DJ here every day. So we had my boy DJ Dre did his session for 2 hours, and this is the time that I have for 60 minutes to do my cricket session that I have always been doing from 2017 to now. I want to say special good night to you guys locked in on Facebook. We live as well on GT592FM radio app, and we live as well on YouTube. We loud and clear. We asking everybody, you could please give it a share. Give it a share. I see Shalini. Good night to you, Shalini, and also to Mala, Hari Prasad. Good night to you as well. And to everybody else that is locked in all the way from beautiful Guyana. Florida, right here in Orlando. Those people as well on the islands of Tortuga. I gotta say good night to you. Hope you guys are having a great and a wonderful Friday evening. I'm gonna give it a little couple of minutes to just build up a little bit, and then we'll get into our cricket program tonight.
Well, I hear a story from Ken Corsby. Cricket came in the jungle Sunday morning right after church. Big crowd assembled. Donkey say me fuss, I batting. You know I love me cricket.
All right, the voice of the trade winds, Dave Martins, for cricket in the jungle. So welcome. 20 minutes after the hour of 9 o'clock. Wonderful Friday night evening right here in the beautiful Orlando, Florida. Hope you guys are doing well. As I said earlier, please give it a share. We live on YouTube as well. We live also. Let me just take off this echo a little bit on this mic here. Yeah, right here. So good night and a pleasant good evening to all our listeners locked in. I want to say a big shout out goes out to our sponsor that make this program possible. And first and foremost, got to say good night to Mr. Sheikh Samad in Ocala, Florida. For all your real estate needs in Ocala, Florida, contact Sheikh Samad with Keller Williams Cornerstone Realty for over 25 years experience and more for all your realty needs. Contact Sheikh Samad down in Ocala, 352-553-8857, or you could give email to Sheikh Samad to gmail.com. And also to Timeline Party Rentals for all event essentials in one place: tables, tents, chairs, lights, cooling fans. You're looking for round tables. You're looking for 6 feet folding tables for 10 by 20, 20 by 20, and so much more. You could contact Timeline Party Rentals. And big shout out to my boy VJ down in the Bronx as well. I have your radio ad. Definitely going to give it a shout out as well. Gotta say big up to Timeline Party Rentals. They are located in the beautiful Guyana, down in Lusignan there. All right, so we'll get straight in to our cricket program. But before that, one sponsor actually leave out, and Mr. Hiralal. Yes, Mr. Hiralal from Orlando, Florida, always locked in as well. Thank you so much for your sponsorship, and also to Mr. Deo Moti and family from Boynton Beach in Florida. Thank you so much for coming on board and sponsor the Cricket Fever program for this tournament, 2026 World Cup. So we have so much to talk about today, like literally so much, and I don't know where to actually start. But we'll get up our co-hosts for tonight in a couple of minutes. I'll tell you a little bit about the semi-final, the second semi-final that's played between India versus England. We're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk a little bit about West Indies versus India. And we also going to talk about South Africa versus New Zealand. All right, let me see. Let me just get Matthew Achaibar from the Bronx. Let's make sure his everything is up and running. Good night to you, Mr. Matthew. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Good night to you. Good night to everyone listening in. Yeah, great to be back.
Great to be back indeed. And, it's the last program. And definitely, you have been one of the most consistent, co-hosts on this Cricket Fever program. I had two persons to actually would have loved to come on tonight, Mr. Ram Singh and Mr. Akim. But I told them, you know what, I'm working on a next program for the next series that is coming up, the West Indies series, and I'll be featuring them. So I said, hey, you know what, I have to get you back as the last program for tonight. How you been doing? I know it's been a busy cricket season, a busy week in terms of all the activities. We have so much to talk about. But how was your week so far, Mr. Matthew?
Yeah, it's been a pretty good week. As you mentioned, very action packed with the World Cup coming to a close. But yeah, it's been a very entertaining week in regards to the World Cup, and we're now down to the final. So looking forward to it.
Yes, and I know the last time we were here, we were giving our predictions. you said that the West Indies would have defeated India. I told you that, hey, you know what? I will go with India defeated West Indies. Then you told me that that the New Zealand team is the team to actually look out for because of the way and the brand of cricket that they play. And, you know, they play some very good cricket and they found themselves in the finals. There was so much to talk about, man. But let's talk about India versus England, the second semi-final that played at the Wankhede Stadium yesterday. Matthew, did you have the opportunity to actually look at the game?
I saw the highlights of it. Yeah. I didn't see the game actually live. But yeah, I saw the highlights from it.
All right. So Matthew saw the highlights. He'll give us his analysis of the game. 253 for 7. The India batted first. And, you know, a lot of people thought 253 for 7 would have been a mammoth to climb when India, you know, batted first. And I really saw an opportunity there that 253 for 7, man. I was like, you know, this is done and dusted for England. But it wasn't the case. England reply with 246 for 7 with a brilliant 100 from Jacob Bethel. But before that, India, as I said, they made 253 for 7 with Sanju Samson once again among the runs. He played fantastically well against the West Indies. Just take the game away from West Indies. And here as well in the second semi-final, 89 of 42 deliveries, 7 sixes and 8 fours with a strike rate of 211. Abhishek Sharma didn't get among the runs as yet. He only had a half century. I think he made 55 in one of the earlier matches. He only made 9. Ishan Kishan 39, Shivan Dubey 43, Surya Kumar Yadav 11, Hardik Pandya 27, Tilak Varma 21. 253 for 7. The India with Joffa Archer, 1 for 61. Will Jacks 2 for 40. And Adi Rashid 2 for 41. And England in reply, you know, a lot of people would say 253 for 7. When India win that game, would it be a comfortable victory? I thought so. But a fantastic 100 from Jacob Bethel, 105 of 48 deliveries, 7 sixes and 8 4. And alongside Will Jacks, 35, and Josh Butler, 25. England made a very, very good reply in 246 for 7. And, you know, it was a pretty good game. It did ended up as a pretty close game. When you look at it, it's only 7 runs, but it was a very good game. Looking at the India performance, not Surya Kumar, but Sanju Samson, once again, live up to his expectation as an opening batter, take the game away from England and totally bat it like a true champion. You know, Matthew, you saw some highlights of the game, 253 for 7, and England narrowly lose that game by 7 runs. Your prediction of yesterday's game?
Yeah, India, I mean, Sanju Samson, the last 2 games against the West Indies and now against England has been phenomenal. And considering this was a guy that didn't play the first few games, or at least even in the India team in general, is a guy that's kind of in and out with the India team. You know, there's plenty of other keeper batters like Ishan Kishan, KL Rahul, Rishabh Pant, who are always around the setup. So Samson has kind of bounced around a bit, but to see him get the opportunity later on in this tournament and to really make use of it and turn into their biggest match winner, it's really been a good thing to see for him, for those that have followed Sanju Samson's journey. I've always been one that has kind of backed him a little bit over Rishabh Pant over the years. So I'm glad to see now that Sanju Samson is getting his time to shine at the World Cup stage. But yeah, I mean, I did check in the score around at the halfway stage, and I did see the mammoth total that India had posted. And I said to myself, well, that's it. That's the end of England. And then I was in school and I happened to check the score real quick. And then by the time I got home and I was able to check again, I saw it was a lot closer than I had initially thought. Valiant effort from Jacob Bethel. He's probably my favorite English player right now. So I was glad to see him among the runs. Will Jacks played a good hand at the end, nearly brought it home again for England if he had stuck around a bit longer. But yeah, really good game, runs fest. But yeah, India through to the final.
Um, for those people who's locked in, guys, if you could give the stream a share, I'll definitely appreciate that for sure. Let us look at India campaign so far in all the games them that they have played. They started against the USA and they won that game against USA by 29 runs. They were very, very shaky, very inconsistent. USA probably had an opportunity to beat India in that game, Matthew. I think they were 88 for 6 until Surya Kumar Yadav played that fantastic innings. India win that game by 29 runs. Then they play Namibia and they beat Namibia by 93 runs. India versus Pakistan, they beat Pakistan by 61 runs. India versus the Netherlands, it was a close game, won by 17 runs. And then through to the Super 8s, they play South Africa. They defeated South Africa by 76 runs. And they defeated Zimbabwe by 72 runs. Two very, very convincingly victory. And also, you could say against the West Indies as well. They beat the West Indies by 5 wickets. And India versus England yesterday, they won by 7 runs. The road to the final for India. How do you classify India, so to speak, in a team going into the final against New Zealand, knowing the fact how they play in the first couple of games? They were looking a little shaky and stuff against USA. They play some very inconsistent cricket in the first couple of games, but you could see the power of an India team. They have backed that with bowling, batting, and fielding in the last couple of games against South Africa, against the West Indies, and of course against Pakistan and Netherlands as well.
Yeah, I think, and it's the same thing really with New Zealand as well. We'll get to them later. But India, I think it's a team that you could say has certainly been battle tested. And it's something we were always to kind of talking about, or a lot of the media was talking about regarding South Africa, or any team in any tournament that kind of starts undefeated. It's always like, well, that one bad game is going to come at some point, and the last thing you want, in especially for South Africa, and they found that out. The last thing you want is for that bad game to come in a semifinal or a final. So India, in the sense they did beat the USA, but I think that was far from a convincing win. And I know for a lot of Indian fans, that was not at all the standard or the expectation that they wanted. And they would have lost that South Africa game in the Super Eights. So that, I think, is one thing
Yes,
where
you're
I would
correct. You're
say,
correct. They lost by
yeah,
76 runs to South Africa. Sorry about that.
yeah, so that's where I would say India has kind of already had their mishaps, especially at the start. You mentioned things weren't really clicking for India at the start, especially with their top order wasn't firing. Abhishek has been in some poor form. Tilak Varma, his strike rate was a bit of a concern, but Sanju Samson has come in the last two games and that has solved their top order problem. So yeah, just things like that, just figuring those things out, having those bit of bad games or those shaky moments, or not perhaps finding a best 11 early in the tournament and getting that out of the way rather than just firing straight out of the blocks and then gradually building and gradually finding your peak when it matters, which is now. I think India is probably a team that has done that to a T, and I think New Zealand the same. But yeah, I think just having that shakiness at the start it's better to have it at the start against teams like the USA or Namibia than to have it now against teams like England or New Zealand.
Well, you mentioned some very, very important stuff in terms of the first couple of games that India play. As I said, man, when we had our first discussion, I told you I don't really see India lose this World Cup because it was their World Cup to win. Because when you look at the India team, you look at the likes of a Sanju Samson, Abhishek Sharma, Ishan Kishan, Shivan Dubey, Surya Kumar Yadav, Tilak Varma, Aksar Patel, Varun Chakraborty, Bumrah, Jasprit, Ashdeep Singh, and co. You could name them. Um, they are so powerful in both departments, the both batting and bowling, and they have a very, very um, balanced team when you look at it in this whole Cricket World Cup. South Africa was looking at the team for me that I said, boy, South Africa are playing some very good cricket. They look like the team can go into the final all the way there. But um, T20 cricket is very funny. West Indies unfortunately didn't make it as well. But India, I think they click at the right time when the right time matters. You mentioned Sanju Samson, a player who I always feel, man, should have been in the India team for a while. But,
Yeah.
because of the way India cricket are structured, you have a guy like so much players we could talk about cannot make the India team.
Yep.
But look at Sanju Samson play against the West Indies. He took that game away totally. And here he comes against the likes of a Jaffa Archer, Will Jackson, Overton. Tell us a little bit about that power play. I know India score almost 90 yard or 80 yard in that power play, man. When I look at the highlights, it was total devastation. And the game was already gone and done and dusted.
Yeah, and I mean throughout the tournament, I think at least I was saying that England's bowling attack is probably it's probably what's gonna cost them later on in the tournament. And I mean, yeah, that the power play from India kind of it tells two stories. It tells the story that England's bowlers were battered around the park, but it also tells the story that India just from a batting perspective, were completely dominant. And again, that was led by Sanju Samson once again. But yeah, I mean, both semifinals, really, when you look at what New Zealand did and you look at what India did, both semifinals were kind of built upon dominant starts, dominant power plays. And yeah, I mean, India just completely took things away early on against England.
Jasprit Bumrah, 4 overs, 1 for 33. When you look at the bowling figures for that England versus India game, and I just have to laugh. I see Ashdeep Singh, 4 overs, 1 for 51. Varun Chakravarti, 4 overs, no mean 1 for 64. Shivan Dubey, 1 over 22. And Jasprit Bumrah, with all the carnage, what's happening? 4 overs, 1 for 33. That goes to show the exception of a class bowler in Bumrah.
Yeah, and a lot of the times that's kind of the difference. We see it so often in these high-scoring games, or like in an IPL game, or in any franchise cricket, but especially in the IPL, where we've seen some huge totals put up by IPL teams in the recent past. Usually, sometimes everybody is getting hit, whether the pitch is just good for batting or whether it's just all the bowlers are having an off day, and then there's usually there's that one bowler that comes in and will amongst a team that is going for 12 13 runs and over, that bowler comes in at 8 or 9 runs and over, or even less than. And 8 or 9 and over in a game like that wouldn't be too bad. And in this case, it was Jasprit Bumrah. And usually those 4 overs that only go for 8 or 9, usually that makes the difference in a lot of these high scoring games.
Well, as I said, India, they made 253 for 7, and England, they reply with 246 for 7. Phil Salt, he only made 5. George Butler, 25. Harry Brooks, 7. Tom Banton, 17. Will Jacks, 35. Sam Curran, 18. Jaffa Archer, 19, with 3 sixes in that last over. But the man of the moment, Jacob Bethel, 105 of 48 deliveries, 7 sixes, and 8 fours. And when I look at my stats, I see the power play, they were 3 for 64 after the first 5.5 overs. And I think that is where the England definitely lose the game from there, because, chasing a big total and losing 3 wickets in that first power play, Matthew, definitely put the batting team under immense pressure.
Yeah, and England has also been a team that has had some top order problems. Josh Butler has had a nightmare of a T20 World Cup. I was actually thinking that if there was ever a game that we could see the best of Josh Butler, it was going to be that game, because he has been so short of runs. And I was like, Josh Butler, we know the quality of Butler. You're not going to keep him down for that long. So I was kind of expecting a big one from him. Didn't quite happen. Salt failed again as well, has been pretty inconsistent. But yeah, it was always going to be tough with a top order that hasn't been in form. and when the innings actually starts and your two openers are gone pretty early, it just puts a lot of pressure on Bethel, on Brooke, on Jax, and it's been that way, Bantam. It's been that way throughout the tournament for England. So just again another failure from the top order.
We have seen a lot of fantastic innings this year, World Cup. But this innings here from Jacob Bethel is something special. Varun Chakravarti, 4 overs, 1 for 64. He's one of the main strike bowler for the India team. He haven't really been performing in the last couple of games. Do you see that, the India team probably dropping for that final and probably, I know who is there? The left arm spinner.
Kuldeep.
Kuldeep Yadav haven't got a game as yet, but Varun Chakraborty, man, he's been a bit disappointing in the last couple of games.
Yeah, and considering he had started pretty well, and he's kind of overtaken Kuldeep lately as the premier wrist spinner for India. But yeah, he's had a tough outing. He definitely had a tough outing against England. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it will be interesting because Kuldeep, we know the quality of Kuldeep, and it's almost unfair. Speaking of players that can't really get into the India Forest team, it's kind of unfair that a guy like Kuldeep Yadav can't really crack the 11. But yeah, that will be something to kind of look forward to. I don't know if India will make any changes for the final, but if anything, yeah, that's Varun's performance in that semi-final is probably a bit concerning.
So we talk a little bit there about England versus India. The final is set to play Sunday at the Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad. We'll tell you a little bit now about New Zealand. And every time when we talk about New Zealand, you always speak about that consistent brand of cricket, that very, very good all-round brand of cricket that they always play. They started their journey with a 5-wicket win against the Afghanistan, and then they beat the UAE by 10 wickets very, very convincingly. I think they had to make 176, and the two openers winning that game. New Zealand winning by 10 wickets against UAE. They won by 7 wickets against South Africa, and then they won by 8 wickets against the Canada. In the Super 8 games, they play against Pakistan. Well, unfortunately, there was no result in that game. New Zealand versus Sri Lanka. New Zealand won that game by 61 runs. And New Zealand versus England. England won that game by 4 wickets. I know you are a big fan, and your dad is a big fan as well when it comes to New Zealand cricket. But your dad more on the Kangaroo side of things,
Yeah.
I haven't heard from him for a while since that the Australian took the early exit. I know he's been hiding, and he's pretty much disappointed with the Australia performance. But you told me a little bit about the Kiwis' chances in the earlier segment, and I know you must be very, very happy to see the New Zealand team in the final.
I am very happy, especially with the way they won and the team they beat. We were talking all the time about South Africa being perhaps a team to beat, undefeated all this time, and then for New Zealand to just go in and trash them, really. Really big performance. To be honest, I wasn't expecting that, even as a New Zealand fan. I was kind of expecting South Africa to beat them again, as they had already lost to South Africa in the league stage. But kind of like India, New Zealand is another team that has been battle tested in the sense that they lost to South Africa, they lost to England, and they also had that rain-affected game against Pakistan that nearly knocked them out had the result gone Pakistan's way against Sri Lanka. So New Zealand has similarly to India, had their downs kind of already in this tournament and are a team looking to peak later on.
Well, I'm a very much New Zealand fan as well. I didn't expect them, to be honest, to be in the final. I had South Africa to be in the final versus the West Indies, but unfortunately that didn't happen. I didn't really had the West Indies chances to win in this year World Cup, to be honest. But we're gonna talk a little bit about West Indies. I know some people been messaging me. I was like, "Hey, you're not saying anything about the West Indies, man. What's happening?" Before I do that, I want to say big blessings and good night to my sponsor, Sheikh Samad in Ocala, Florida. For all your real estate needs in Ocala, Florida, contact Sheikh Samad with Keller Williams Cornerstone Realty for over 25 years experience. Give them a call, 352-553-8557. Email sheikhsamad2@gmail.com. And also to Timeline Party Rentals for all events essentials in one place: tables, tents, chairs, light, cooling fan, event setup and decor, and so much more. You could give them a call also. All right, I have the radio ad to play in the next 5 minutes or so. And Timeline Party Rentals are located in Lusignan on the east coast of Demerara. West Indies chances were disappointed, Matthew. The last time we talked, your prediction definitely go wrong. You did told me that the West Indies will be defeated India.
Yeah, my predictions have been so wrong throughout this World Cup.
Yes, I was telling you that. I was like, man,
Yeah,
Matthew prediction was
I
very bad.
haven't had great luck with this World Cup. But I mean, yeah, I thought the West Indies would have actually beaten India, but Sanju Samson had other plans. India, yeah, I thought India won that game very easily, and I mean, I know the score probably doesn't reflect how easy. I mean, it was still a comfortable win, but I feel when you actually were watching that game, I feel India made it look a lot easier than maybe the score suggests. And you look at it and you look at the scorecard, and aside from Sanju Samson, there was not really another standout score, but everybody just kind of came in with a little 15, 20, 25. And that was just kind of the dagger for the West Indies. The West Indies, they struggled to take wickets in clumps, I guess, which is what they needed. They struggled to really build any kind of pressure. They would get one guy out, and then the next guy would come in, and there would be a 30, 40, 50 run partnership, and then the wicket would fall. And then another guy comes in, gets another decent partnership going. And that was kind of the entire chase for India. And Sanju Samson was just playing his game from one end. He held up all the way through, played a brilliant innings. And everybody else's job was to kind of come in, just get going quickly, hit a couple out of the park, get a quick 20, 30, support Sanju. And that was it. And I thought India really mastered that chase really well. I made it look so easy.
Well, I really thought the West Indies were probably 20, 25 runs short. When you look at the 195 or 4, it wasn't a bad total. It wasn't a really winning total, so to speak. It was a total that probably they could fight. But a team like India, I really feel you need to put up something about 200. Roston Chase at the top of the order, he made 40 alongside Shea Hope and Shamron Hethmeyer 27. Rovman Powell and Jason Holder, the end, put out a very, very pretty good partnership in 34 and 37, respectively. 195 for 4, and India 199 for 5, 19.2 overs with 4 deliveries to spare. Sanju Samson 97 not out, Tilak Varma 27. They were the key progress for the Indians. A lot of people have been talking about that dismissal featuring Shamron Hethmeyer. Did the ball play? Did the ball hit the thigh pad? Matthew, what do you think?
I mean, from looking from the angle, I mean, I didn't see it live, but from going back to rewatch it I mean, it does look like there is an edge there. I mean, yeah, I know there were people saying, "Oh, there was a gap." I mean, I don't really see it. I mean, you've got to say from the angle that I saw, from the angle that was shown on the screen. I mean, it's close enough to the bat. There's no real. I mean, people are saying, "Oh, there was a gap there." I don't really see much of a gap, but once it's that close to the bat, and once there's a sound, it's really a no-brainer that it was played. So yeah, I don't really get the controversy.
Well, we will leave it there. We will leave it there. We're not going to get too much of statistical analytic when it comes to argument like that, because as you said, it's pretty clear that literally Hetty did nick that delivery. All right, so West Indies were knocked out by India in that quarter-final game. You want to see, you want to speak. It's always going to be difficult for West Indies to defeat India in a game like that, even though a lot of people told me that, hey, you know what? Look out for a surprise that the West Indies will defeat India. I know my wife is pretty happy. She's laughing because Team India is in the final, and she's a very, very big India fan as well. I want to say good night to Mr. Hira Lal. Yes, Hira Lal Beam. Good night to you, and good night to Mr. Leonard Chaibar and Mr. Sankar, Nicholas Jibu, and Somati. Good night to you, Somati. Sunil Sankar and Mala Hari Prasad, along with Shalini, and to everybody else taking a little time out and locked in with us as well. I have some message that came into my WhatsApp actually. They are locked in there in Toronto, Canada. Gotta say big up to Sateshwar, Prasad, and family. They're locked in Toronto, Canada, listening to the broadcast, and also to some families and friends in the British Virgin Islands. They are listening as well. I got about what 20 minutes, 20 minutes before program time tonight. Matthew, Sunday, the big final, New Zealand versus India. What do you expect?
I don't know. I mean, like I said, what I've expected to happen and what has happened has been completely not even close in this World Cup. So at this point, I don't really know what to expect. Um, it's a tough one. I don't expect a 250 game like what we saw in the England India game. I don't expect another performance like that from New Zealand either, with the way Finn Allen and Tim Seifert went about. Um, I think I'll leave it at that because if I get into specifics, I think I'll be proven wrong again. But I'm pretty confident, hopefully, that I can nail this one. I don't think it'll be a run fest. I think it'll be a bit more a bit more normal, I guess, in a sense. I don't think we'll see a crazy 200, 240, 250 game like we saw in the semi.
All right, we'll leave that prediction right there, Matthew, at Tribar. South Africa versus New Zealand. Well, that game had everything inside because I never really expect South Africa to lose that game with the way they were playing. They were unbeaten. They looked like the team that going to take it all the way to the final. We know South Africa when it comes to tournament like these, and in cricketing terms, they are always considered the chokers when it comes to ICC event. And, South Africa 169 for 8 with Markram 18, Quinton de Kock 10, Brevis made 34, Tristan Stubbs made 29, Marco Jansen made 55, the top score, 169 for 8 with Matt Henry 2 for 34, and McConkey 2 for 9, the spinner, alongside Lockie Ferguson 1 for 29, and Rachin Ravindra 2 for 29. 169 for 8, Matthew. Did you expect South Africa to make that total against New Zealand team?
No, I didn't. But it didn't, I wasn't expecting it, but it didn't surprise me at the same time. And it was something that I was telling my dad. I was saying, well, for New Zealand, I don't really expect New Zealand to win this game. But if they do, two things have to happen. One, if you can get that top three of South Africa, De Kock, Markram, and Rickleton, if you can stop them from passing 50, you're in business. If you can get all three of them gone before a half century, you're in business. If you can expose that, not that the middle order is weak for South Africa. We know Brevis can bat. We know David Miller can bat. We know Stubbs can bat. But just exposing them early in a pressure game, and we know, again, South Africa's reputation. Once you can apply that pressure, and they've been so top heavy, so dominant at the top order with De Kock, Markram, and Rickleton. If you get those three, then the game is wide open. You expose that middle order. You put pressure on a team that is always feeling the pressure in moments like this with South Africa, and you take things from there. That happened. Neither one of Markram, Rickleton, or De Kock was able to really get going. And then the second thing I said had to happen was that Finn Allen had to kind of go crazy. And I felt that Finn Allen was probably the best shot New Zealand had at winning. And well, I think Finn Allen did a pretty good job. It was Mitchell Santner, I think, in the interview afterward. He was like, "Yeah, not bad from Finn Allen. Fastest 100 ever in the T20 World Cup. Not a bad knock from him." But yeah, that's probably two things that I could say I nailed right on it, and it happened, and New Zealand won.
Well, I mean, the way they won with over 7 overs the spear, 173 for 1 with Finn Allen 100, hold on, 100 of 33 deliveries, 8 sixes and 10 fours. I had to double check my stats because when you look at it, 33 deliveries, 10 fours, and 8 sixes. Wow. Wow.
Yeah, and Finn Allen, I think he's been batting that way his entire career, and he's been a guy that I've seen since he was playing like under 19s for New Zealand, and I've kind of seen his career develop. And I always thought of him as the next Brendan McCullum, just with that don't care, go out and just try and hit every ball kind of mentality. But I think this year has really been a huge year for Finn Allen, dating back even to, well, I technically last year, but dating back to Major League Cricket. He came here and in the first game of the tournament blasted 151 at the Oakland Coliseum. And it was from then, that was like the best innings I've seen from Finn Allen. He was just hitting it to all parts of the ground. 151 in that game. He then went to the Big Bash. I think he got another century there. He was the leading run scorer in the Big Bash. And now he's come to the World Cup and he slammed the fastest 100 in World Cup history. So take a bow, Finn Allen. He's having an incredible last 6 months or so. And wherever he goes, he's making 100. So,
Well, I mean, the way that South Africa played, as I said, in the whole tournament, man, they got to be really kicking themselves for not be in the final in the World Cup because the brand of cricket they were playing, they look like the team to beat. And as you said, you must have a bad game. And unfortunately, New Zealand played some very good cricket in the tournament. They had some inconsistent games in the first couple of games, but New Zealand is New Zealand. They will always inch themselves and be in the semi. You'll see them in the final. Can they defeated India Sunday? Well, I don't know because Matthew's prediction has been wrong. My prediction has been wrong, and I don't want to say what I am not supposed to say, man. But I would love to see New Zealand win the World Cup.
I would too. I would too. I mean, what do I think New Zealand? I feel New Zealand, they'll need to find a match winner that potentially isn't Finn Allen. And I hopefully, I'm not gonna say it out loud because I don't want to manifest it. But all I'm gonna say is Finn Allen, they'll need to find maybe somebody else because Finn Allen probably isn't going to make 100 again against India. I'll leave it at that. But I think that's really the key. If Finn Allen, I mean, it's very unlikely he'll have that kind of innings again. But if he doesn't get going, then New Zealand will have to really step up because Finn Allen has been a big part of what they've been doing, that especially that opening partnership with him and Tim Seifert. You look back at that UAE game, they chased down a similar total against South Africa without any wickets at all. And they did that pretty easily. So the top order is really where the magic happens for New Zealand. And I know Glenn Phillips has been in some pretty good form as well, but I feel Glenn Phillips is the kind of player you kind of need to give him a start for Glenn Phillips to really come in and get going fluently and get going early. He needs to kind of have that bit of runs on the board already to play with. But yeah, if the middle order, well, I think we'll have to step up at some point. And I think that some point will be on Sunday. So guys like Rachin Ravindra, Daryl Mitchell, Glenn Phillips, Mark Chapman, stay ready because I think your moment could potentially be coming. And they've got to take wickets in the power play. They've probably got to get Sanju Samson very early. And thankfully, they've got, in my opinion, one of the best power play bowlers in the world, Matt Henry, who can do just that. So they'll need the middle order potentially to step up if the top order doesn't, and they'll need Matt Henry to strike in the power play.
Matthew, what makes the India team so powerful in this format of cricket, especially T20?
It's just the depth, I think, with India. It's just anybody on that team can win you a match, and you don't really know who it's going to be, but anybody can just kind of come in. Even a guy that isn't even in the 11, they can bring a guy in, and he can come in and make an impact. Look at Sanju Samson. He wasn't even in the 11 at first, and comes in right off the bench, and suddenly he's fixed in the team. He's won 2 games for them. a guy like Kuldeep Yadav, who we talked about. Let's just say Kuldeep comes in. Let's just say they do drop Varun and Kuldeep comes in. We know Kuldeep is one of the best bowlers in the world still. Kuldeep can come in right off the bench and win you a game with his bowling. It's just the depth. And I mean, the IPL obviously is a big role in that. But again, look, at the start, our first show that we were talking about there's no Kohli, there's no Rohit, there's no Jadeja anymore. And here we are. India is in another final again. It's a new captain. Surya Kumar comes in, and it's nothing's changed. Nothing at all has changed with India. It's just that fact that you can field maybe 2 11s or maybe even 3 11s worth of Indian players, and every team would still be just as competitive as the next. So that's it for me. Just having that faith and having that trust that anybody on this entire 15-man squad, whether you're in the 11 for the last game or not, you can come in at any point and win a game.
Well, after a slow start, India have now ranked up two of the highest totals in T20 World Cup history in the last 3 games. And, if I'm a New Zealand coach and looking at that stats, knowing the fact that India have rattled up so much runs in the last couple of games, our bowling, if we won that toss, probably we have to bat first, Matthew.
Well, at first I did say that I think the team that chases in that West Indies game would have won, and India did win chasing. I don't know. I just felt it was a game where the batting just once the batting team had that total in front of them, it was just going to, like I said, it was going to be a batting game. It was two teams that had very powerful batting lineups, and I just had the feeling that whatever team has that target in front of them and just says, all right, this is what we have to do. Go out there and let's get it done, was going to win. And that ended up being India. So I actually thought the West Indies, had they been chasing, I thought they would have been in a better position.
Well, the final is set to play at the Narendra Modi Stadium in Ahmedabad. Knowing that pitch, the Ahmedabad pitch is a little bit different, but I do expect another high-scoring game, Matthew.
I think the toss will potentially be important because, as somewhat of a pessimistic New Zealand fan, I get the feeling if India win the toss, and fielding first has been very typical of this World Cup. But let's say New Zealand bat first, and Finn Allen goes early. I think we're looking at potentially a 150 game. I think Finn Allen is really the key for New Zealand, and I'm getting flashbacks of that 2015 World Cup final against Australia where New Zealand batted first, and Brendan McCullum got bowled third ball by Mitchell Starc, and New Zealand just completely fell apart after that. I'm getting unfortunate kind of memories of that game, and I'm thinking to myself, if Finn Allen doesn't fire, if India get him early and New Zealand is batting first, I just feel that New Zealand batting lineup is going to go into kind of a panic. That our star guy, the guy who's been in dominant form, is gone. And again, I just don't think there's that level of fear in that middle order for a bowling team. I mean, yeah, Rachin Ravindra, Glenn Phillips, Darryl Mitchell, they're good batters, but not at all in the kind of form and in the same style that Finn Allen will just pick you apart. And again, they're guys that I think work better when there's already kind of a score on the board and they can kind of come in and play freely. If that doesn't happen for them, and if Finn Allen or Tim Seifert or both of them fall early, I think we're looking at a 150 game. If India bat first, I think we could get some runs on the board. I think New Zealand would be better off chasing. But yeah, I fear if New Zealand bat first, we could have at least a low scoring first innings.
Nice. Very, very interesting indeed. Guys, what we're going to do right now, we're going to go to a short commercial break, and we will be back in a minute or two. Don't touch that dial.
Planning an unforgettable event in Guyana? Not sure where to find everything you need? Let Timeline Party Rentals take care of it for you. From tents, chairs, and tables to dazzling lights and cooling fans, we've got everything to bring your dream event to life. Whether it's a wedding, a corporate function, or a birthday bash, Timeline Party Rentals has the perfect pieces to elevate your celebration. Call us today at 610-6859 or 628-8978. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook at Timeline Party Rentals. Unbeatable prices, professional service, and unforgettable memories guaranteed. Timeline Party Rentals. Planning an unforgettable event in Guyana? Not sure where to find everything you need? Let Timeline Party Rentals take care of it for you. From tents, chairs, and tables to dazzling lights and cooling fans, we've got everything to bring your dream event to life. Whether it's a wedding, a corporate function, or a birthday bash, Timeline Party Rentals has the perfect pieces to elevate your celebration. Call us today at 610-6859 or 628-8978. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook at Timeline Party Rentals. Unbeatable prices, professional service, and unforgettable memories guaranteed. Timeline Party Rentals.
Yes, welcome back. Welcome back to Cricket Fever. I want to say a big shout out to Timeline Party Rentals, Doug and Luziknan, Guyana, for all event essentials in one place: tables, tents, chairs, light, cooling fan. Give them a call, give them a check out right there for all your round tables, your folding tables, 10 by 20 tents, 20 by 20, 20 by 30. Cooling fan, you know, it's very, very hot down in Guyana as well. You could beat the heat for sure. And check out Timeline Party Rentals. Luziknan down in Guyana. And big up and good night as well to Deo Moti down in Boynton Beach. He say he's locked in with his beautiful wife, Angela, listening to the broadcast, and also to Sheikh Samad in Ocala, Florida. Mr. Hiralal Beam for sponsoring segments of Cricket Fever 2026 World Cup Edition. All right, we're coming on to the wrap-up time. We got about 5 minutes more. And I want to say a big shout out to the management team right here, GT592FM Radio, for giving me this opportunity. It's not a lot of DJs have a cricket forum or a cricket program. I'm fortunate to be probably the only DJs to have a cricket program on the radio, and it's been happening for a long time. I started this journey in 2017, Abbey Tunes Radio, and actually, this is my first segment for the month here on GT592FM Radio. So, gotta say a big shout out to Alex Shea and Navin Singh out of Canada for giving me this opportunity, and also to all of my sponsors for coming on board and sponsoring the cricket segment. Also to those people who will always take a little time out and listen to our telecast, listen to our broadcaster on YouTube, Facebook. There's so many people who's locked in on the app, driving, heading down to the gym, doing some shopping. They could always listen live while driving as well. So I want to say a big shout out to you guys. Thank you so much for your love and your support. All right. Before we wrap up tonight's edition, I'm going to make this a little bit of fun. I have actually written down some questions, and I want to emphasize a little bit about Matthew Achaibar. For those who may not know him, he's always here on a cricket platform whenever I'm hosting a cricket show. Remember our first program we did way back in the islands. He was very, very small kid growing up in with his dad. I saw some videos with him, with Ross Taylor. I saw videos with Nikhil and him. I saw videos with Chris Gale. And this same guy here that we talking to, he's so brilliant. He's so fantastic when it comes to his everyday life in terms of college. He's a very hardworking person when it comes to everything. But when it comes to cricket, man, he's amazing. And I just want to say thank you, Matthew, for always coming on board and support me on this platform here. I really, really appreciate it. Yesterday I took a little time out and I said, hey, you know what? Do you have some time to do the program yesterday? You said no. And I said, hey, no worries. We'll do it tonight. And you stand to your word. And we made it happen, even though our time had to schedule a little later on. You still came on board. So I really appreciate you coming on board, Matthew. I know you have your college and stuff, man, but thank you so much for coming on and being on Cricket Fever.
Yeah, and it's always a pleasure. I enjoy doing this. I enjoy doing things like this because me and my dad, all we do is just talk about sports, and we always think to ourselves, we're like, man, the amount of things that we have said that have, whether it predictions and stuff or just things that we talk out loud to each other, and we always say, imagine if we went on like a show or something and said these things, how brilliant we'd look sometimes with some of the conversations we would have. So yeah, I have a lot of fun doing this, coming on to shows and giving my opinions and stuff, whether I'm right or I'm wrong. In this case, I was pretty wrong on this World Cup, but nonetheless, I just have fun doing it. So yeah, I'm glad that you've kind of given me this kind of platform that we can come on and just talk about it.
Of course, and it's something too that it do take a lot of my time because I do have a full-time work. Sometimes I do work in the night. Sometimes I do juggle in the 7 o'clock, 6 o'clock shift, the 9 o'clock shift. Sometimes I come home all 11, 12 o'clock, sometimes midnight. And, I still try to do the program at least once a week. It may not be a consistent basis, whether it's a Monday or a Tuesday thing. I'm always finalizing time with the management team. And they was like, man, whatever you want to do, man, the platform is always here for you, man. You just go and do what you got to do. All right. So sometimes it can be difficult, to get in terms of guests and stuff to come on a program like this. And I'm very happy that I could always get in contact with you and you could always arrange and do a little program.
Yeah, it means a lot, and I'm always happy to be on.
All right. So Matthew, I know your cricketing knowledge is amazing. I think your cricketing knowledge is better than your dad. I know he's locked in. Good night to you, Mr. Leonardo Chibar. All right. So I have a couple questions here. This segment here is called the rapid fire question. So here what's happening. This is the first question. I have like 6 questions. So I want your answers. You ready?
Hmm.
Okay. Which country has won the most ODI Cricket World Cup? Which country has won the most ODI Cricket World Cups? Is it Australia, West Indies, India, or England?
Has to be Australia, right?
All right, you're correct.
Yeah.
Australia. All right. Who's the only player to score 100 international centuries? Is it Brian Lara, Virat Kohli, or Sachin Tendulkar?
Sachin.
Of course, Sachin is the only player to score 100 international centuries. All right, my next question is, which bowler has taken the most wickets in Test cricket history? Which bowler has taken the most wickets in Test cricket history? Is it Shane Warne, Muthiah Muralitharan, or Courtney Walsh?
More later on.
All right, so far 100%, Matthew. Which country won the first ever T20 World Cup? Which country won the first ever T20 World Cup? Is it Pakistan? Is it West Indies or India?
I think it might have been Pakistan.
No.
Oh,
I don't-
I
India
remember. I remember
were the
Pakistan had
first
won
team.
something.
Yeah,
I
India
thought it
and
was
Pakistan, I think, played that final. I think your dad probably going to correct us. But I know India Pakistan played that final, that T20 final. And India win that first ever T20 World Cup. All right, I see your dad is pretty much smiling there as well. All right, so we're having a little fun here, guys. Don't worry. What is your biggest fear, Matthew? What is your biggest fear?
Hmm. My biggest fear.
Let's hear. Let's hear a little fun part of Matthew tonight.
Um, it's a bit weird.
Ooh.
I feel like it's something I've actually thought of lately, and it's like I feel like my biggest fear is actually time itself, because time, you can't control it, and time kind of it controls you, and you can't control it. So it's like I can be a lot more philosophical about it, but I
Right.
mean, yeah, when you lose track of time and that's it, it's gone, and you have to do certain things at certain times, and it controls your life, and it can be kind of stressful when time gets away from you. But as a physical thing, probably heights. I'm really afraid of heights.
All right. So that is something new I know tonight. Matthew, afraid of heights. Okay. Next question, Matthew. What is your hardest thing you've ever done? What is your hardest thing you've ever done?
Hmm. Hardest thing I've ever done. That's a tough one. Probably math in school.
And
I've really struggled, especially the older. At first, I used to like math when it was basic multiplication and division and stuff, and then once algebra and geometry came in, and everything got a lot more complex, I have struggled with math ever since then. So for like maybe the last 4 years or so of my life has been miserable with math.
all right. What is one goal you are working towards right now?
Um, Probably to turn my commentary into a career. That's probably the one goal I have. It's something that I'll focus on in college, try and get like a degree and stuff in. And yeah, really try to take this to the next level because I can see myself as more than just a cricket person. I know a lot about soccer as well. I know a lot about NFL as well from growing up in America. I know so much about the NFL, so I can definitely see myself as someone that can do a full range of sports and kind of grow into something bigger. But yeah.
Well, I'm very happy that you said that because I did told you in one of my radio telecasts, in my program, that I really feel you have what it takes. You have the voice. You have that golden voice, that golden touch in terms of a cricket commentator. And I wish you all the best. And I know once you put your mind to it, you will exceed 100%.
Thank you.
All right. So I have one more question. What's the weirdest item currently in Matthew bag? What's the weirdest item? I know you go to college. What is the weirdest item you have in your bag, Matthew?
Weirdest item. Trying to think. I'm trying to think. I had a keychain. It's like a Reese's peanut butter. The chocolate is like the wrapper, but it's like a rubber thing that I put on my key.
Oh,
And it fell out. No, it was not on my key, on my bag, like on the zip on my bag. And I had it, and it fell off after like 2 days, and I never really put it back on. But I liked it. I thought it was pretty neat, but I didn't feel like putting it back on because I felt it was just gonna fall off again every time, and I was gonna lose it at some point. So I think I just kind of stuffed it in one of like the side pockets or one of the smaller pockets in my bag. I'm pretty sure it's still in there, and yeah, I think that's probably it.
well, I know I actually surprised you tonight by asking you those funny questions, but I find it fitting since that tonight is the last edition of the Cricket World Cup Cricket Fever here. Do a little something fun as well. For those people who's locked in as well, you guys may not know Matthew Achaibar so much, but as you heard it tonight, he's in college, and I have seen his development in so many years when it comes to cricket. His dad will be sending me a lot of videos with him, imitating a Danny Morrison, there with Chris Gale, with Ross Taylor, doing the cricket commentary there in all aspect of cricket, man. And Matthew, I'm so proud of you, and I wish you all the best. I know your dad always there with you 100%, whether it's college, he always drive you to take you to do your practice session, whether it's as a football game or any game, so to speak, because you're very versatile in all sports. And I just want to wish you all the best, and thank you so much for coming on board Cricket Chat. And I will tell you this, since that Matthew is not sure what's happening Sunday, I will tell you that India going to be defeating the New Zealand and lift that World Cup Sunday.
I get the feeling too, but I feel like my brain will be thinking India, but my heart, of course, will be with New Zealand. But yeah, it'll be a fun one on Sunday. Probably an emotional roller coaster for me, depending on how things go. But yeah, the World. In my opinion, this was a pretty fun World Cup. I thought I actually liked it better than the last one. We had some upsets. We had Australia going out. We had Sri Lanka had started the season so well and then kind of fell apart. We had Zimbabwe, the underdogs. We had Italy making their debut and winning a game. We had some close games with the associate countries, like we had the USA game with India and Nepal and England. It was
Yeah.
that was a pretty close game. Um, so yeah, I thought it was a pretty fun World Cup. I actually liked it. I mean, the last one was pretty low scoring and kind of dull, but I think this year has been pretty fun. And to be on every week or every other week here, it's talking about all the action has been pretty fun as well.
If you have to pinpoint probably 5 players that have caught your attention, who would that be?
Oof, 5 players that have caught my attention. That's a tough one actually. um,
I know for
I'd
once,
actually
Jacob Bettel probably,
yeah, well,
caught
yeah,
my attention.
Jacob Bethel was probably one for me. I'm trying to think. Patum Nisanka, I felt was kind of. I know it maybe wasn't as consistent, but that innings against Australia, really kind of opened my eyes to how good Patum Nisanka is when he can kind of get going. Pavan Ratnayaka is another one. Now that I was thinking about from Sri Lanka as well, the middle order. He looked pretty good as well. He had some pretty good knocks on even the ones he didn't really get going in. He got like a 15-20 or whatever. He looked pretty good, looked pretty attacking, very fluent, very fearless from him. So I've never really seen him play before. So I was pleased with him. Um, I think the entire Italian team as a whole, I was very impressed with the way they defeated Nepal by 10. Nepal by 10 wickets. They gave England a bit of a run for a team that made their debut that I don't think anybody could really name any players from. I thought Italy handled themselves pretty well. Um, yeah, I think those are. Farhan from Pakistan, Sahibzada, was one that really is another one that I haven't seen a whole lot of. But this World Cup, I really got to see a lot more of him, and he really got going. So yeah, those are some of the players I can think of right away.
And before we go, a word on West Indies. They made it to the quarterfinal stage. Unfortunately, they didn't made it to the semi and the finals. A lot of people did, written them off, but they had a pretty good tournament.
Yeah, and I think there's a lot of positives that the West Indies can take away from this. I know they're stuck right now. they're stuck right now in India. I think there's a lot that they can kind of look back on and reflect and say. I mean, first of all, they were placed in a very tough in a tough group. We were talking about how the first group with India, West Indies, South Africa, and Zimbabwe. It was the 4 teams that were undefeated in the league stage were in one group, which was kind of crazy. But they were in a tough group, but yeah, I think putting Hetmeyer in at 3, getting. I mean, we saw Roston Chase open the batting. It's not something he typically does, but we saw him do it and do it pretty well. So maybe that could be another thing that they can kind of take away from. They got a lot of their players in form. Rovman Powell was pretty good down the order. Their bowling was pretty decent. So yeah, I think there's a lot of things, a lot of positives that the West Indies can take away.
Well, yeah, as you said, the positive is there. Just disappointed that didn't really see the likes of a Samson, not Sanju Samson, but Samson from the West Indies, and also Jaden Seals didn't get a game. Johnson Charles, I think he played 1 game. But apart from that, I really feel that the West Indies did a fairly job in playing. It's just that they had a really bad game against South Africa, and they were disappointed against the India 195, and Sanju Samson and co. It was just history for them. All right. So thank you so much, Matthew. I'm hoping that you'll be watching the final Sunday.
Yes, absolutely.
Make sure you wake up and you watch that final Sunday. All right. So have a wonderful night, Matthew, and definitely we'll touch base with you some other time again.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Have a good night as well. And to everybody on Facebook and to everybody locked in that have come to an end of the cricket edition tonight. I just want to say thank you guys, man. Thank you so much. Sometimes it's not about the views out there, maybe 4 people locked in, or maybe 5 people, or maybe 15 people, or 20 people. Um, it's not about how many people locked in on the radio, guys. I always say this. This is something that I love to do, and sometimes it do takes a lot of work in getting a program like this done. you know a lot of people message me and ask me, they're locked in on the radio, they're not on Facebook, but they're hearing the broadcast on the radio app. And they was like, man, how do you actually do a cricket program as a DJ? And it's pretty simple because everything that I do here literally comes from my brain, right? I literally will look and watch the highlights of the games, and I'll make my assessment and do my stats and stuff, man. But it's just a passion that I have. As Matthew said earlier as well, he's in college right now, and he's actually will be studying or doing some more research in advancing his commentary level. I wish I had the knowledge like him, because if I had the knowledge like him, I would have probably do the same with him. But there's things that I want to do and may not happen, but at the end of the day, I do what I love. All right. And to the management team of the radio, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to come on board and do this program here tonight. Lastly, to Timeline Party Rentals, to VJ, to Chic Saman in Ocala, Florida, to Deo Moti down in Boynton Beach, and to Mr. Hira Lal. Thank you so much for sponsoring segments of the program. Sunday's program is sponsored exclusively by Zen Tavern and also down at Flash Zone Bar and Lounge for Sunday edition. I gotta go. Until next time, people. Have a fantastic weekend. And South India versus the New Zealand team. That game going to be playing 8:30 in the morning, Matthew.
Yeah.
8:30.
Yeah, our time will change.
Oh,
so
yes.
yeah, so I think it'll be 9:30 now.
9:30. All
Yeah.
right. So 9:30, we'll definitely hoping that, according to Matthew, he wants the Kiwis, the New Zealand team, to defeat India, right? So I'll back the Indians to win that. Well, let's see what's happening. Have a productive night. Until next time, people. Bye-bye.
An unforgettable event in Guyana? Not sure where to find everything you need? Let Timeline Party Rentals take care of it for you. From tents, chairs, and tables to dazzling lights and cooling fans, we've got everything to bring your dream event to life. Whether it's a wedding, a corporate function, or a birthday bash, Timeline Party Rentals has the perfect pieces to elevate your celebration. Call us today at 610-6859 or 628-8978. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook at Timeline Party Rentals. Unbeatable prices, professional service, and unforgettable memories guaranteed. Timeline Party Rentals. Planning an unforgettable event in Guyana? Not sure where to find everything you need? Let Timeline Party Rentals take care of it for you. From tents, chairs, and tables to dazzling lights and cooling fans, we've got everything to bring your dream event to life. Whether it's a wedding, a corporate function, or a birthday bash, Timeline Party Rentals has the perfect pieces to elevate your celebration. Call us today at 610-6859 or 628-8978. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook at Timeline Party Rentals. Unbeatable prices, professional service, and unforgettable memories guaranteed. Timeline Party Rentals.